Okay, take any questions you may have. Before I do that, I'm a little remiss there. We lost Joe D'Alessandris last week. I think today's the funeral and going on over there in Baltimore. And I don't know if any of you guys have had a chance to meet him or talk to him. Besides being the football coach that he was and the impact that he had on players, he was just a wonderful, wonderful man. And I don't think he ever had a bad day and was always positive and had great things to say about our profession and players he coached and people around him. So he'll be missed. My condolences certainly to his family. And Coach Harbaugh and I had a chance to talk about Joe and the impact he had on so many people in his life. So with that, I apologize, but I'll take any questions you may have.
So how do you get your new kicker broken in as far as the chemistry will go with the snap and hold?
Yeah, I think we'll have a bunch of work between now and the time we kick, and he's had a lot of work at the Battery to this point, where he was in Tennessee and coming out of school. So we got started a little bit here this morning. So I think he'll be ready to go.
Rich, did you evaluate him, this spring, and if so, what'd you think?
We did, yeah. We evaluated, all of them coming out, and we kind of did a deep dive into him coming out from NC State because we liked him. I know he'd been a bunch of different schools, and we kind of went all the way back to Western and kind of saw what he did there. He's got a great body. He's strong, and he had a really good preseason over there at Tennessee. So we've been following him along with others throughout the preseason, but we did a lot of work on him coming out.
Rich, for you personally, what was it like moving on from Anders, given your history with the family? And was there any part of you that said, you know what, I helped? I know it was obviously a lot of credit to Daniel, but you say to yourself, I helped turn his career around after he struggled early. I can do the same with Anders.
Well, I think we all felt like, coming out, he had the ability to be a good kicker, and I still think he has the ability to be a good kicker. He improved coming back from last year. He was stronger. He had some 10-day periods where he played really well, and some other periods where they were up and down to some degree, both of them. So I certainly think he's an improved player. I just think the consistency level that we're looking for wasn't reached at this particular point by either one of them. So I'm sure they're both going to have a chance or an opportunity in the league again. Just probably be a matter of time.
Rich, you said the consistency hasn't reached the point right now, but Daniel's a perfect example, right? The Vikings give up on him, and you get him, and he ends up being one of the best kickers in the league. Is there some measure of risk to giving up on someone that has the kind of talent that Anders does?
Well, I think those situations are a little bit different. I think Anders was a 3-game tryout. We went through an entire season with Anders and an off season and now through preseason. So we thought he had plenty of opportunities to increase his consistency and get a little bit better. And again, I feel like he left here as an improved player. I just don't think we felt it's at the level of what we need right now. And hopefully we're in position with the two guys that we have working together here now that we can find that.
What do you like about Hale?
Again, he's got a lot of qualities. He hasn't had a lot of kicks, and he's a little bit of a work in progress with alignment, but he's got a strong leg. He's got a good contact point right now. He's easy to coach. He's eager to learn, and he had a really good day yesterday. So we're excited we get to keep him in that international program and expect him to keep improving as days go by.
Does Daniel have to adjust much as far as the hold goes?
No, the holds are, just get the laces going in the right direction, and that's really more him and Matt. But, again, we met this morning about where he likes it, what the wind conditions are. Are we playing in perfect weather conditions, whatever those things are. So those two will spend a lot of time together here over the next few days getting ready for a game.
Rich, how beneficial was being able to actually rep the kickoff throughout the preseason? Just anything you learned from that process and just the...
Yeah, I still think it's a learning curve, or a work in progress. I think all the teams that we've discussed with each other, I think the two practices were extremely beneficial to us because I think them and us probably showed things in the practice session that we wouldn't show in the preseason game. But I still think, first games and bowl games are always a little nerve-wracking, right? There's been a long period of time between when we played our last game, when Philly played their last game, and now when you're going to play for real. So we're still going to keep learning, I think, as the year goes on. But we feel good about the direction we're going in, and we feel good about what's legal and what's not legal and what the blocks look like and how they're going to officiate, what the mechanics are of the officiating process to it. So it's our reality right now, and I feel like we'll be ready to go.
you've been around this league a long time. As far as the patience towards maybe guys like Carlson that you see the potential, they're waiting to see it consistent. LaFleur and Goody's patience compared to maybe other places you've been with that type of situation.
Patience with just kicker in general?
I would say, yeah, special teams in general, I guess, but yes, kicker in this specific.
Well, I don't know if any coaches are actually patient people. I think we're more into the developmental mode when we get young players. And again, we felt like, we gave them a lot of opportunity to develop as the year went on, as the year and a half went on. Again, we don't feel like the consistency level at that particular position was where we wanted it to be at this particular time. So, again, we're moving in a different direction, and we hope we can get some consistency going in that direction at the kicker position, as well as punter and snapper for us.
How do you figure out where the line is of being patient and demanding production with a guy that you're just going to be getting to know, right? You don't want him, you also don't want, you want him knowing he needs to produce, but you don't want him worrying about, all right, is my next kick going to get me fired, right? So how do you approach that as a coach?
I don't know if any kicker worries about the next kick getting me fired or the last kick getting me fired. You'd have to ask them or him, no different than does the quarterback worrying about, does this interception, is this the one that is the last straw, or if a DB, is this the last missed tackle I get to have, and then I'm gone. I don't know if great athletes think of it like that. I just think they process what they just did, how can they improve in the cycle, and then do better on the next one. So when you make a kick or miss a kick, and I think we've had this conversation, to me they're both imposters, right? After you make a kick, now you have to go kick off. Now, did I kick the ball out of bounds? Am I short of the 20 now with the new hit zone? So I don't know if they think of it that way. And as far as short leash, long leash, patience. Again, I think we're into the development of young players for as long as we think we either have to make a change or stick with who you have, right? And I think you saw that last year. I'm appreciative of the way Brian handled it and Coach LaFleur handled it, and really appreciative of Coach LaFleur scheduled practice schedules this on training camp to allow those guys to kick as much as they actually did. There was over 70 kicks, for the both of them. So there was a great sample size of the consistency we were looking for.
Rich, I know a lot remains to be seen with the new kickoff rule, but
Can you say it a little louder, please?
I know a lot remains to be seen with how teams will fare with the new kickoff rule, but what does your gut tell you? The league wants more returns. Will this give the league more returns, or do they need to incentivize touchbacks to the 35 or further to get that result?
Yeah, we're going to do the best thing we possibly can for the Green Bay Packers to have a chance to win a game. And that's all I have to say about that, on kickoff and kickoff return.
On all your kickoff, I know you didn't get a ton of kickoffs in the 3 games, but were those all intended to land in the landing zone? Because it looks like some teams are just ready to, all right, let them have it at the 30. We're not going to risk it. Is that part of the calculation that you have to make also?
I think so. I think going into the game, it's going to be, how good is their return game? How good is our coverage team? What are we becoming as a coverage team? And in preseason, we try to do an array of all of it. We try to put a couple on the ground. We kicked some touchbacks, and then we tried to do what we thought we could do in the hit zone. We kicked some outside the numbers, kicked some, to the goal line. But I think for us, the 2 practice sessions against Baltimore and against Denver were really good for us to kind of see exactly what we were going to do. But we tried to do all the above in the actual games.
Did you have any gut feeling, obviously it doesn't come down to one kick, but when Carlson missed that 32-yarder at the end of preseason, was there any feeling inside like this might be his last kick for the Packers? Even though it doesn't come down to one kick usually, but circumstance.
Yeah, I don't know if I felt that at the particular time. I didn't feel anything different when he made the 54-yarder either. And, I thought it was big of Greg to come and hit a 55-yarder after he hit a 54-yarder. So when you talk about competition or pressure or those sort of things. So I would say, and he would tell you the same thing, it was disappointing, to miss that particular kick at that particular time. But I didn't really, I didn't think about where it is at the end. It had been a long competition. We let it go all the way through the last preseason game. And then obviously with the collective group that we have in the building, those are decisions that were made.
You have so much responsibility as a special teams coach, all the different units. Why do you think teams don't have just a kicking coach?
I think some do, you know what I mean? And I know Baltimore has one, and Randy's been around a long time. And a lot of these players, these kickers, have kicking coaches, that they spend time with throughout the summer, in the off season, those sort of things, and ours are no different. So I don't know if a kicking coach talking about your plant foot and your contact point and your alignment every single day is the answer to any kicker. I've been around a lot of good ones, and we haven't had that on a constant basis, So you start talking about quarterback coaches, and if, quarterback coach tried to change Bernie Kosar's, way he threw the ball, or Philip Rivers how he threw the ball, and some of those things. So I think they all have someone they go to. You can call them a kicking guru or their kicking coach, and I think they get more work done with them in the off season, so to speak, or in the spring, where they work on some of their fundamentals and technique and their alignments. I think they do a better job of getting a master's in themselves by watching the practice film and the game film as the year goes on.
To the game on Friday, what's the challenge with the returner, Colby?
Yeah, I think he doesn't like the fair catch. He likes to make plays inside the 10, inside the 5. He's got great quicks. He can make you miss, and he can go the distance. So he'll be a handful that we'll try to manage with Daniel and our coverage teams. But obviously going to Brazil is exciting. You get to play. I'd much rather play him in Brazil than play him in Philly. I've gone to Philly a lot of times, so this will be exciting for our team to go over there and to have this opportunity to play there. And I just think it's a challenge. Anytime you play Philly, offensively, defensively, and certainly in the kicking game, it's a challenge. They're a big, physical, fast unit, and so it'll be a good challenge for our group.
I know that you're used to a good amount of turnover, but losing a guy like Christian Welch and Robert Rochelle and guys that were pivotal on the special teams last year, how do you turn the page from that and hope that the newer guys or those that made the roster can fill those roles?
Yeah, and Tyler Davis again. We're going to go another year without TD, and those guys were tremendous contributors to us a year ago. And in the National Football League, especially in special teams, it flips. We have a lot of two young linebackers and young safeties, and we're fortunate our tight ends have been good teams players for us in the past. So it's always a unique challenge in the kicking game to get young guys playing quickly on special teams. I remember a year ago, Tucker played for us on teams. He was on punt return and kickoff return and punt team. He made a tackle against the Chargers on kickoff, and then all of a sudden, he takes off at the tight end position. So I actually find that exciting, that we can get young guys up to speed and get them contributing to our team as quickly as possible, and hopefully they ascend to position players after that.
More, please. In terms of returners, I know that Keyshawn will be the main guy, but last year Jaden Reed saw some run. I know Smart Tour is no longer on the team, but he did. Do you have an idea of how that will come about in terms of punt returners, kick returners?
Yeah, well, right now today, those two, Keyshawn and 11, those two guys are our returners. We feel pretty good about our return game.
Zane Anderson continue to stand out on the special teams phase.
Yes, he had a tremendous, preseason for us, and I know he improved on defense as well. But he should be a staple for us and help lead our unit along with Eric Wilson and things he's done. And McDuffie's playing a lot of defense now, so we'll have him for some of them, but not for all of them. But again, we're excited about the young guys and the direction we're going.
So your ability to use Eric doesn't change a ton with him defensively, but maybe.
I don't think so. I think because of the position he's playing and the different packages that they've gotten on defense, we should be able to use Eric as much as well. Duffy he doesn't leave my side, so it's hard not to put him in there, but we'll do a good job trying to take care of him.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Good to see you all.